Hey, everybody, it's Lisa Johnson here at the Unshackled Moms Alliance. I am here talking with Miss Dianne, and we're going to talk about all things that you need to know about going back to school, keeping your kids organized, keeping your house organized. I know once sports hits and all those things, it gets a little bit chaotic, so we're going to try to bring a little calm to your storm. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you like what you're hearing. And let's get to it. So, can you start maybe by talking a little bit about your childhood? Because I just thought it was so fascinating and what life looked like growing up in an immigrant household.
Absolutely. First off, I just want to say thank you so much, Lisa, for having me here. This is such a great opportunity, and I am so thankful that you're reached out and we're doing this finally. And I get to
Yeah,
show whatever
absolutely.
I got, answer your questions, and hopefully this helps your audience. And yeah, so living in immigrant families. So let's go back centuries ago. I'm joking. My family, we moved in here in Canada back in 1978. So let's do the math of how old I am. I'm a third child, so the youngest of three, and we came to Canada. My parents they had to find work right away, obviously. And we got sponsored basically from my aunt, who's already lived here before in this province. And my mom, because I was still young, I think my older brother was right away into school. So he had to like assimilate. We moved in April and school started in September
Oh, gosh.
with not a lick of English speaking on top of French speaking because we're the French province. And
Gotcha.
so it was, I guess, I don't know how life was for them at that time, especially we were young. But, long story short, my parents really had to make ends meet. My mom was a nurse and she was the main breadwinner. She had to work multiple jobs. My dad was the sole driver, so he drove her around. So you can say, safe to say, is that we were home alone often, especially in elementary school. My older brother would do all our breakfast, help us with our not necessarily getting dressed, but making sure that we had, egg sandwich, whatever he could muster up to cook. And then we'd walk the 11 blocks to school, rain, sleet, snow, heat. We would get to school, come back for lunch again for pork and beans or something, whatever we had in the can, peanut butter jelly sandwich, and then head back to school on time, another 11 blocks. So my parents would leave well before we got up and would come back, I'd say around the 5, 6 o'clock mark, enough for supper and spend time with us, I guess, for whatever time they had. And so safe to say that we were left home alone quite a bit
Yeah.
to figure things out. Homework, getting ready for school, afternoon prep, afternoon coming back from school, yeah, so not a lot of activities either, or playing with kids outside. We had neighbors. We lived in an apartment complex, so we played with the kids who were there on the weekends. And mid, like I'd say, as of I want to say grade one, grade three for my sister. I was in grade one. Someone introduced her classmate introduced her to gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, which is in another city. So I don't know how we got there. I think the mom dropped us off, and we not auditioned, but we like registered or tried it out, and they really liked my sister's athletic abilities because she was tiny. So I don't know how we got to starting gymnastics, but we did gymnastics for 6 years. We took the bus there. Sometimes it was three buses and a metro or subway, depending on where you live, to get there. It took about an hour and a half to get there, and my dad would come pick us up at 8:30 at night and drive us back home. And we did that for most of elementary school. So
Wow. So,
yeah.
what kind of things did that instill in your personality? Like, I imagine independence, self-reliance, right? Like, what are some of the things that you took away that you use even to this day to do what the things that you want to do?
I think it was a lot of trust in yourself, your gut
Hmm.
instinct and everything. I think having my sister being like the older sister that she was more vocal than I was. So she
Yep.
was a lot of the lookout person for me because I was just, as my sister would say, very flighty and like, oh, let the wind take you wherever it takes you. You know, I'm like, sure, we're going here, we're walking here for 11 blocks. Okay, let's go. We're this person's driving us to gymnastics. I have no idea who this mother is. Let's go. So
Right?
I think at that time, because I am the third and a child and not very vocal, I kind of like relied on her to do all the talking, you know, negotiating all the way until we were into adulthood. Now, like sometimes roles reversed and I
Yeah.
do a lot of the talking. I've stepped up into that role and now I'm like kind of like not taking care of her, but you know, it's taught me a lot to be trust yourself, try things out. Things are scary, but you know, when you're surrounded with support, like the right support, especially my sister, we trusted each other. We would do it, you know, and you're gonna be okay. Like, thank God we were watched by angels and everything. You know, we made it to from one city to the next in one piece for 4 years,
Yep.
traveling every day throughout. And gymnastics is like, I don't know if you know, but back in the day, we used to train 20 hours a week.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, it was 3 times a week for 4 hour, 3 or 4 hours, and on Saturdays for 6 hours. But on Saturdays, my dad would take us and come pick us up. But it was a lot of busing, and metro, subway. Um, yeah, so we would stick together, and
Yeah, that's cool. So what are some of the things that you growing up were like, as a mom, I'm never gonna do this, and you don't? And then as a mom, you're like, I need to instill these in my kids.
right, right. So the first thing was, you know, I wanted to be more present as a mom. So when my first kid, I have 3 children. They're now in their tweens and teens. So when my first kid was born 15 years ago, I was still working a full-time job, right? And then
Mhm.
after my maternity leave was done, I went back to work for a bit. And then as a new mom, we forget or we don't know this, but your kid gets sick when they go into daycare and they get sick often, right? And myself being an ambitious person, you know, I want to always do a good job and make sure my job is done. And I like no one has to worry about my desk and I'm answering all the questions and stuff. It was very hard for me to let go of that aspect and that drive to be, I guess, a people pleaser and to do a good job.
Yep.
Um, and then take a step back and be like, I got to take care of my kid. So, you know, like their daycare's calling me and saying, he's still sick. You need to come get him now. So that caused a lot of stress in me of like having to answer to the workplace and also be the mom that I always wanted to be. My husband and I decided, you know what, this is too much stress on you. More stress on you is going to cause more stress on our kid. And that's not what we want. So you're going to stay home. So I ended up becoming a stay at home mom, which is completely against the grain for us as an
Yep.
immigrant family. Um, we're raised to like, you know, you go to school, to a good school, you listen, you do your homework to graduate and have a good job, and then you provide for your family and you take care of your family. That's the routine of life.
Yep.
And
Yep.
for me to stop and be a stay at home was, I can tell you it took about a good 10 years to really say like, it's okay, like let it go, let it go. But when you grew up in
Yeah.
it, it's
Yeah.
very difficult. And I still catch myself sometimes being um, like I am still working from home, but I'm running my business, but I'm also the the primary parent. If anything happens for the kids, I'm the one doing like the the bringing to, picking up, this and that and that. Like my husband, he's great. He's a full hands-on partner and husband, and he's taking care of the kids too when they're
Yep.
babies. But his job, it's well, he runs a company, so he kind of has to be there, you know. And
Yeah.
he's the main income, so he
Yep.
kind of needs to. That's the balance. I take care of the kids, and he does the finally income stuff. So it's very backwards for me. And as
Yep.
far as being the parent, uh, now I'm not like how my mom was or my parents because they couldn't be there. I'm there with the kids. I'm teaching them, guiding them. The only thing is that I'm not doing everything for them,
Right.
especially especially like as they became like toddler, like after toddlers, like forget babies and toddlers, you're there, you're the it, you're doing everything. But as they grew, as my first one became more and more independent, this is what I've always wanted them to be more self-sufficient, independent, be able to get their water, set the table for themselves, clean
Yep.
up after themselves. So I really wanted to structure things in a way so that they become independent. Because eventually, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be gone. I'm
You want to
going to
work your way
be.
out of a
I
job.
w-
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted. I want to start my own business. Not going back to corporate or anything like that. I'm eventually need to set myself up because they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be going to do their own things, right? They're gonna be
Yep.
living their life. And what happens to me?
Yeah.
I didn't want to go back to corporate when I'm a lot older and just like starting all over. That's not my thing. It's not for me. So
Right.
that's why I'm working right now, building my business as I'm raising my kids at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
I love that. And so I want to touch on something that I think was really important that you brought up. And that is that whole mindset of somehow, in our heads we need to be productive. We need to, as moms, we need to bring in money, we need to support, we need like, and so that all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now I'm just the mom, right? Like it's such a huge mind shift because we feel too often like I'm not contributing. But really, like you are doing the biggest gift, ever to your kids. But I think that, there's, as a society, we think our value comes from the income that we're bringing in, or our value comes from how much we can provide to the family financially. And
hmm
so, I love that you tell me a little bit more about how you mind shifted that to be like, okay, I'm here with my kids. I'm okay with being here with my kids. It's okay to be a stay-at-home mom for right now and pour into my kids and then have a business as well.
right. Well, like I said, it took me a while to get to that mindset shift
Yep.
of being the stay-at-home mom. And the ambitious part of me that's in me has to do something. So to do it more productive while raising kids was to create something of my own from very tiny, small, so that later on it can shift to grow into something big. So I really wanted to occupy my brain, like
Mhm.
the ambitious brain,
Yep.
so to prepare myself to have something for the future. So I did do stuff that wasn't mom related. It
Yeah.
wasn't just reading or going to the gym or, those are great things too. And I did do those things, but I needed something more, creative in a sense where I'm
Yeah.
creating something for me, for someone, making and helping people in that sense, even though I was doing tons of the helping and the creative and all that for the children.
Yep.
It's a different way of your brain working. I don't know if you
Yeah.
understand what I mean. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
Well, and I think that whether you play bunco with the girls, or you go to a book club, or you take a college class, or you do like all those other things, because you're right. Sometimes we just drown in the role of mom, and really
hmm,
we are also women and wives and have other roles, right? And as a
yeah,
woman, you need to continue to stimulate those areas, right? Whether it's
right,
art or whatever that looks like.
right,
If you want, this is not me, but like if you want to go take a chemistry class or a calculus class, like that is all left brained, all gobbledygook to me. But,
yeah.
if that is what floats your boat, it's important to make sure that you do those things.
Absolutely. You need to answer that need in your brain. And I love what you said when you just said what you said before. I'm not just a mom. It's so funny that you
Hmm.
said that because during COVID quarantine time, I was hanging out with a couple of moms that I had met at the pool in the summertime. So we were outside at minus 20 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's damn cold. It's
Yeah.
cold, especially when you're outside for over an hour and you're
Yep.
standing there because you're watching the kids play because they need social time because they've been in quarantine due to COVID for hours and hours. And we were also doing homeschooling at the time, which all of us were like, how do we even do this? So we got together outside where it was okay. And then those words came out to my mouth when I was discussing with them because we're talking about all the things that we're doing for the kids, all the things that we still have to answer for work. a bunch of us moms had different, um, ways of having income. Some of us were strictly stay-at-home moms. Some of us had part-time jobs, and some were full-time jobs, and also doing the whole homeschooling, right? And everybody has different types of children and how they learn. So it was just like everybody can remember. I don't really need to like describe it here, but it was a very, very, very challenging and difficult time.
Yeah.
And then we had this conversation where we're like, ah, we're doing all these things and this and that and doing all things for the kids. It's like, you know what? We're more than just moms. We're more than this. This is not defining us. So um from that group like drove me even more after the pandemic and through these last few years is to really focus on building my business to help other moms, you know, uh, build the life that they want through helping them find more time
Yeah.
with my coaching program and stuff. So um, I love that you mentioned that because I say it all the time. We're more than just moms. We have passion. We were people before we were moms. We were people before we had our spouses and our whoever we're living with. We have a passion. We have our goals. We have a dream. We just sometimes motherhood puts a little pause on that, and hopefully not a too long pause. That we can come back to that person who needs those dreams answered. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you shared with me the other day about how you woke up one morning and your kids were gone. They got up, you slept through the alarm. They did not. They got up, they got themselves ready. So you also talked a little bit about the mix of guilt and pride in seeing your kids independent. So can you unpack that a little bit for us?
absolutely. So last September, school started as usual. We did the first day of school, yay! And then the weekend came and school was in full blown. And then I remember waking up. I still wasn't adjusted to the new school schedule, to the like waking up earlier because summer we just take it easy. Uh, so I woke up well after they left, and I didn't know when I woke up. I was like, oh, the house was quiet. And I don't hear anything. And I don't remember hearing any hustle bustle or children yelling at each other because they can't find this or hurry up or wake up, whatever. Nothing.
Right.
So I got up and I looked around. I went to the kitchen. Everything was fine, like clean enough. Things were put away.
Yeah.
And I looked at the time on the microwave and I had to confirm on my watch and I had to confirm on the oven. I'm like, no, no, it's really like almost 9 o'clock. The kids left like a half an hour ago. And I sat there. I was like, oh, they're gone. They don't need me. So I called my husband right away after sitting in that, like, huh. And I told him right away, I was like, this is what happened. And the kids are gone. And I feel bad. I feel guilty because I wasn't there. I'm not there to help them or guide them. And I feel like I'm not enough or not doing enough. And he was like, don't. Don't. All this moment, and from this point on, this is what you've been working on for the
Hmm.
past how many years?
Hmm.
5, 6, 7, 8 years. You
Yeah.
built it to get to this, so be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, "That that's right. That's so true." I have been
Yeah.
wanting my kids to be more self-sufficient, more self-reliant, more
Yeah.
responsible. I did it. So it took again, I had to kind of mourn that past me so that the new person can be like so when after he said that the next day, I was like, "Oh, this is great." So for a week, I thought maybe it was like a fluke one day, and then 2 days, not a fluke. The rest of the week, it was fine. The week after, I was like, "Oh, we can get used to this. They don't really need me now."
Now you can
Now.
just train them to bring you breakfast in bed first before they leave.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens.
Exactly. So, you mentioned the mix of guilt and pride, right? And seeing your kids independent. Um,
Mhm.
so how are you navigating that empty nest ish thing that you have, right? So you have all this time. You can sleep
Mhm.
in, and I jokingly said, have the kids make you breakfast. But what are you doing? Are you getting up, having quiet coffee, or what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize it until this summer. The summer's just passed now, but I didn't realize it that quiet, quiet time is something I
Mm-hmm.
need every day.
Yep.
Just silence, nothing, no distraction, no noise, so that sitting in still quiet is something that I need every day. So it was very challenging this whole summer for that because the kids were in and out and their friends are coming in and stuff. But what I did enjoy as all of last year, and I'm looking forward to this coming school start, that the house will return back to having quiet time for
Yep.
me, where I can actually just breathe and rest my brain and my
Yep.
mind and think of nothing, almost like a meditation type thing. You just have
Yeah.
that moment to, it's almost like a vacation and uh and really focus on the things that I want to focus on, my business, or if the house needs some sort of like reorganizing, or that section needs some reorganizing or something.
Yep.
But I have that space literally and time to do that. That's what it has gained for me.
That's awesome. So, speaking of reorganizing, you shared with me a little bit about how, and during COVID, there was a certain program that you all watched, and it affected your husband in an interesting way. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so it was a year before COVID. It was 2019 when 2019 started. We were
Okay.
sitting down. It was after the holidays, after we're done with watching all the holiday movies and eating all the holiday things. So we need something fun and just new. And when we turned on Netflix, we saw this beautiful thumbnail print of the image of this new show. It was called uh, Tidying Up, Marie Kondo Tidying Up. It says, hey,
Mm-hmm.
she's holding
Yep.
boxes. She's holding boxes. We like boxes. It's clean. We like clean. And this is new. We like it. Click, press play. All right. So we watched the first episode. Wonderful. Second episode. Great. Third episode, I'm about to press play, and my husband just up and left. So I'm like, I want to keep going. Let's go. So I was like, okay, where is he? So I go upstairs. Where are you? What are you doing? What are you doing? Where do I find him? In our bedroom. He was folding his clothes the same way that she had shown, which is the vertical folding technique, super flat
Yeah.
and lining everything up vertically. And he was like, look what happened. He literally gained a full empty drawer and a half. So what took two full drawers now is just taking half the drawer space. And at the same time, he was getting rid of things that he wasn't wearing. And wasn't even a lot, like not a lot of things. And I was like, oh, this is something I can get on board with. This is
Yeah.
something. Yeah, just from that little technique that she showed, completely changed our world and the way we've been folding for the now since 2019. Um, it's changed our life. It's changed the way we live, our space, and yeah, now my children know how to fold that way, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, because at the time, your house was not clean and organized, right? You had this great, big, beautiful home that you spent all this time renovating.
Hmm.
And, I think like so much of us, life happens, right? And things build up. And, like maybe we don't get the laundry folded, or maybe, kids' papers stack up, or whatever that looks like. Right. And
Hmm.
so tell a little bit about that, and then share how this interaction with your husband changed everything in your house.
Yes. So let's rewind back to 2015, 2016. I had three children under 5. We decided finally, after 10 years together, we're going to renovate the house. We
Mhm.
gutted the entire home. We don't have a big home. It's like two levels, a basement and a first floor. And we gutted the entire place so we can make it new, right? Originally, we were going to move out and find a house that was going to be perfect, but the cost of all that was just too much, right? So we said, you know what? Let's just build or live within our means, but in a really nice home. Let's like
Sure.
amp it up, right? So we had to move the 5 of us out into living with my mom. And then when she decided to downsize, we moved again and ended up living with our in-laws, their 2 dogs, and another family member. So that was a lot of
How
fun.
well, yes.
Yeah. So I had one kid in elementary school and two kids in daycare at the same time. So I was all over the place. So when we came back, we lived in it for about 3 years. And when we saw that Marie Kondo episode and the way my husband was folding things and just listening to what she was saying, I decided I took a step back and looked at our space in a different set of eyes, one that was what we believed, well, my husband and I really wanted for our children is to, set them up for success. So
Yep,
if that's what our whole value is about setting our children up for success, and I'm looking at our house with its beautiful facade, new fixtures, beautiful cabinets, natural light coming in, big windows, great success. But then I started opening the cabinets, pulling out the drawers, looking under this, looking into the bedrooms, just opening the door.
yep,
Clutter. Things not even supposed to be where they are at. Opening drawers, and it's like, why is this mixed with this? It's like, it didn't make any sense at all. So that's what prompted me to pursue, sorry, I'm having headset problems here. Um, it prompted me to look into professional organizing,
yep,
and becoming that part of me was answering that side that we talked about before, about answering that need to help people, and help women, especially help
yep.
moms gain more time and have more freedom through professional organizing. And so slowly I started, just being a little more mindful of the clutter around the house and cleaning up things, but specifically making sure that when you open a drawer or a cabinet in my house, there's structure, there's order, it's obvious, there's no clutter, there's no extra brain processing to say, where is this? What is this? Why is this? None of that. It's like you open a drawer, there's a purpose and a reason why this is here. You need something, there's a purpose and a reason why it's located there, and these are the homes for everything. Now, I'm not saying that my house is a museum and anybody can walk in here and, it's like, oh, it's dust free and there's no like laundry baskets lining the hallways. No, it's not that. The only difference is, I mean, it's it's a house that's lived in. There's fingerprints. I live with people. They touch things. They leave things all over the place sometimes. The difference is now it takes less time to tidy things up, less time, minutes to put things away. Things have homes, and everybody is contributing to putting their things away, helping to clean, cleaning the toilet, mowing the lawn, wiping the windows, washing things. So, yeah, um,
I love
it's
that. And love that you're not shooting for, home and
perfection.
garden clean, right? Like no magazine's going to come and do pictures. There's still fingerprints on there, whatever. But talk to the mom who is, because there are a lot of them, right? Who's out there. Like, I just get the living room clean, and the kids have been in the dining room, and they're like, yeah, there's crayons and there's stuff
Yeah,
everywhere on there. And it's a
yeah,
never ending cycle. How do I get on top of that? What are some things that I can do?
right. Well, I've been there where my husband, the kids do jujitsu, and so does my husband. So they do it. My kids do it 3 times a week, and my husband actually goes to jujitsu 5 to 6 times a week.
Yep.
Crazy, right? And he works full time, and he does a lot of things at home, and he's able still to go nightly 5 to 6 times a week away out of the house. So one Sunday, I remember they were going every Sunday. They would be gone for 2 hours average, and I would say, okay, this is my time to clean the house, pristine, beautiful. So I did that for 2 weeks, and they would come in 10 minutes later, like, within 10 minutes after my finished cleaning, they come in and everything's just disarray. Things are everywhere
Mhm.
again within 10 minutes. And I'm like, why am I bothering doing this? Like cleaning it where you can eat off the floor on every corner. Why am I killing myself to do this? You know what? The house is being lived in more often than it's not. So I can't expect it to be eating off the floor clean and not a crumb or fingerprint to be seen. So to help the moms, your question is like, how do I get around that? I guess it's to accept that our house is not um, a museum or going to be on Pinterest like tomorrow morning, and it's not a social media uh, environment, uh, lower expectations of what a clean house is supposed to be for yourself and lower expectation on yourself. Like give yourself grace. You are not a cleaning machine. You are more you're more than a mom. You're more than, having to maintain the house for all the people that live in there. That's not your job. That's not why you're here. It's not why you were put
No, exactly.
into this earth, right? You're so much more than that, and you're so worth your time. So do a little bit
Yeah.
of cleaning, get everybody to help out as much as they can, even though it's going to take a little longer right now to teach them how to do it. In the long run, they're going to learn how to do it and it's going to be golden for you because now they know how to do things and you have more time to prioritize on whatever you want to prioritize on and focus on. So I hope that answered your
Yeah.
question.
Well,
Okay.
and I think that there's a difference between a home and a house. Like a
Yes.
house is like a mausoleum where there's you can eat off the floor at all times. But it growing up in a house is does a lot of damage because it causes a lot more stress too. Oh my gosh, I can't touch this, I can't do that, don't touch the walls, don't like it creates so
No.
much anxiety in kids. Or if you
Yeah.
have a home and you know that, okay, well, if there's fingerprints, it gets on the glass, we can fix that. But
Right.
so what did you notice about your kids' ability to focus once you had all the decluttering done?
I think the huge thing was I realized the difference in me. I was no longer so tightly wound and so like quick to jump and like, oh, they like freak out and yell at like
Yeah,
all the things that they would do, I was more calm because I didn't have so many things to process because of the clutter. I was
yeah,
able to be more present with them and meet them at their level. They were still young. They were still toddlers and an elementary school, like early elementary school kid, still trying to figure things out and not able to. I'm not saying I was perfect mom like this, not at all by any
right.
means. I still
Yeah,
had to learn the new me. I still had to rewire my brain of like, okay, you don't need to yell right away because it's not
yeah,
that bad. You don't need to like snap and get mad or hurry up and fix because it's no. They also need to learn that, messes happen. It's okay. And let's fix it and let's clean it together. Let's do things together. Again,
yeah,
it's rewire unlearning what you have been learning for the past 30, 40 years. Myself and my husband, like we're still a work in progress. We still have, our old tendencies of like, there's a mess, oh, there's a spill, or like, water again, like on the floor. It's
yeah.
like we're still trying to, like get out of that, but it's a work in progress. It doesn't go away overnight, and it's practice, practice, practice of just being mindful of like, you know what, it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, to the mom that is listening to this and is just feeling overwhelmed, like, I can't start. One of the great news is that, you do coaching online, right? So
Yes.
you have programs that you can help moms get started because
Yeah.
sometimes it does feel overwhelming. And will put all the information in the description so that anybody who wants to reach out and get that help, because you're right. If you have a clean house, it just creates a whole different environment than the chaos that can happen because everything is messy. And not everybody gets to stay home and be home there. There's single moms that are working and they're I'm tired at the end of the day. I can't do anything, right? Where you can come alongside and help with those kind of pieces and
Absolutely.
kind of help like let me give you an assignment to do this week, right? Let's do this week. Let's do this week so that slowly not only do you get things done, but you have some of that support and that
Absolutely.
encouragement because you have just so been there, done that, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. And I also like, we don't always, as moms, we don't always have someone in our corner. Yes, a lot of us have our spouse who can see things, but they have their opinion and they have the way they do things too. But sometimes we don't have someone who sees the things that we do, someone who's unattached,
Yep.
And that's the role that I play. I don't know your life. I don't know the experiences that you've been through. Like, you might have a girlfriend, a mother, or like a mother-in-law or whoever who understands who you are and where you've been and stuff. But when you have someone who comes in who's unattached from everything, but just truly listening to your needs and your goals, I think that's huge. I
Yeah.
think a lot of us need someone like that. I have friends, I vouch for, like talking to a therapist. So sometimes my coaching ends up becoming like almost like a therapy. I'm not a psychologist or uh, psychiatrist, anything, or a therapist at all. I'm not.
Right.
But someone who just to talk to, who's on your team, who gets what you want, the goal that you want to get to, and can
Yeah.
work you through the different goals. As you said, this week we're going to concentrate on this. How was it? Okay, perfect. Try this thing too, so in my coaching, we do not only just like do this, do that, do this, do that, but a lot of like, okay, how did the rest of the family feel? What were the reactions? Okay, what words did you use when you implemented such and such structure? How did they respond to that? So we do a lot. I do a lot of like back and forth. Tell me what it was like with this new system involved, um, because yes, we can change something in our house, but if you don't have like the words or the tools of how to introduce it and how to respond to like sometimes the
Hmm.
setback or the pushback from other people, you end up just like throwing your hands in the air and saying, "Oh, forget it. I'm not doing this anymore." And you close up and
Yeah. It's
you do your own thing.
discouraging. Yeah.
Super discouraging. Super discouraging. So I help you kind of like build that muscle and that I don't know, that confidence in yourself, like, it's okay. This will happen, but let's try it this way. And like I said, it's like a little therapy session, but with a little coaching in it
Yeah.
too. So I'm the coach that you need, not the coach that you want. Like I'm not there to baby. I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
Yep. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because you have an end goal, right? Like you are that friend that comes alongside and says, okay, well, this didn't work. Let's try this. I've
Hmm.
been in the trenches. I know what that looks like. I know how to help you. Let's go. Right. And
Hmm.
not, no sugarcoating, right? Like,
Right.
let's do this. Our goal is to make sure that you have a life and a house that is chaos, not chaos free, because that never happens when you're parenting. But, like a lot less. So
Yes.
let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about school because
Okay.
some moms have their kids have started school. I know where I live, it starts after Labor Day. So, like, we're kind of right in that happy medium. Some
Hmm.
moms are already pulling their hair out because dang it, school mornings are tough, right?
Yeah.
As well as everything else. Like, you fit everything else into there. So, what are some of the biggest pitfalls that you see moms face in the morning?
Well, first off, the morning chaos is real. Everybody everybody goes through it. There's a lot of what are they wearing? What are they having for lunch? Where is this? Where mom, I can't find that.
Yep.
We're always late. How come, my homework's not, I can't find my homework or I can't find my project or I can't find it's a lot of it is I can't find and where is
Yep.
on the kid side and the mom's like, what do you mean? So I get all of that. And the ways to avoid it is to make sure that the kids have a morning routine. What are they
Mm-hmm.
doing the second they wake up, they open their eyes? What is their routine? So if your kids are used to just waking up, opening their sheets and then going in front of the TV, we got to kind of break that. I mean, it happens in the summertime. It's a lazy, like more relaxed schedule, so it happens. I have a kid who's starting that habit, who's picked it up. So we have the conversations of like, you know what, in a couple of weeks, school is starting. We got once you get it out of your room, get out of your room, you got to start your sequence, the morning routine. What is it? Wake up, go to the bathroom, do your bathroom stuff, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to your room, get yourself ready, fix your bed, close your bed, and then go to the kitchen. What do you need to do? Like, there's all these things and that they need to get done, and it won't be perfect. That's why we need to instill it every day and until it becomes routine, right? This is also prepping them for when they're older, when they're adults. They have to get up in the morning. They have to do all their bathroom things. They have to shave, brush their teeth, wash their face, whatever it is. So we're basically creating routines for when they become adults. So let's start now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So just having a routine so that they know what to do, what are the sequence of events, and to streamline that in a sense where like when they wake up in the morning, they're not going to the bathroom three, four times. Like, oh, here I go to pee. And I go back to your room, go to change, go to the kitchen, eat. I'll go to the bathroom and brush your teeth. Oh, go to the bedroom. Now I have to, oh, fix my bed. Oh, where's my bag? Where's this and that? Come back to the bathroom. I have to brush my hair. Like we can streamline all of that
Yeah.
pretty easily. Not easily, but like it's possible, right? So that would be
Yeah.
my big key thing is to have a specific morning routine to go over with your kids, practice it, and just keep going.
Yeah. And I've seen some really great ideas for kids who are younger, right? So you have like the chart in the hallway and they
Hmm.
check off, okay, teeth brushed, or they have like you get those little lights and they can like click on the
Yes.
lights as they do it, or like so they have because younger kids are so concrete, right? They
Hmm.
need that, okay, I do this, then I check it off, or I click the
Hmm.
light, or I pull the flap down, or whatever that looks like. So you have all the different things that they have to do,
Hmm.
and then they check it, they flip it over, turn off the light or whatever that looks like. So you
Hmm.
have that concrete. And then as your kids get older, because middle schoolers are not going to click the light, they're not going to check the box because they don't really care. Right. And so, because they're kind of growing into their own, and high schoolers, same. Right. And so
Right.
it really, then you take on the role as a coach.
Yep.
Okay. So, you're coming out of the bathroom, you do everything you need to do in the bathroom, just that reminder to kind of get them going,
Hmm.
because eventually you want to be able to sleep until 9 o'clock and wake up and discover, oh, look, everybody's gone, right? They did their thing.
That's
Right? My
right.
job is done.
That's right. Or just have a lot more smoother mornings so you can get to work on time, so you can clock in on time and
Yep.
stop giving excuses or, like apologizing because you're late all the time. Yeah, so having those routines is great at any stage. Like you said, teens will not respond. Maybe they will, you don't know, might not respond to check marks and stuff. But a good question that I like to ask the kids instead of being always like thinking for them, well, I'll say, what needs to be done next?
Hmm.
Where are you at? What do you need to do to get to the next to get breakfast ready?
I
What do
love
you need
that
to
critical
do
thinking.
to, critical thinking, exactly. What do you need to do to get so that you're on time or whatever, So they're like, "Oh, I need my school bag, my lunch bag. It's like, is your lunch ready?" Like, "Oh
Hmm.
no, I forgot a snack. I forgot my fruit or I didn't fill my water." Instead of
Yeah.
thinking for them, like, "Don't forget your water. Don't forget this. Don't forget." It's like it's too much. Let them
Yeah.
think. Ask the question. And you know what? If they forget their water one day, 2, 3 times, like, 2, 3 times a week, it's not the end of the world, but, life is gonna teach them. If they were thirsty that day, they forgot the water, hey, think better, think better the next day and prepare your
Yeah.
water at night, and then take
Yeah,
an easy
exactly. And I
grab.
think that that is so great, right? Because it's not about like, oh my gosh, you didn't get your water, but it's like, okay, well, what did you learn from that? Right? Because
Mhm.
then you're running around getting the water. So what can you do to alleviate that next time? Right? It's
Mhm.
helping coach and process through that with your kids, right? So
Absolutely.
I personally I like to sleep until the very last minute, not gonna lie. So I, the night before, have all my clothes laid out. My lunch is made. It's in the refrigerator. So that I can get up, shower, do my hair, get dressed, grab my lunch, and go, because I don't want to be messing with any of that. I don't want to try to figure out what I want to wear, none of that,
Mhm.
because I want to sleep. But I know
Right.
that, similar to your kids, right? You can help them pick out all the goods, but I always say have a plan A and plan B, because
Mhm.
I do not know how many times kids get up the next morning and they're like, yeah, I don't want to wear that now. Right. So like, okay, well then we have plan B, get plan B and let's go. Right.
That's
Because
it.
too often if your kids are late for school, or even a lot of times in daycare, they're missing out on circle time, they're missing out on the initial instruction, they're
Mhm.
missing out on those announcements, which I know that we think that we just totally tune out, but you need to know that what we're doing today, you need to know what we're
Mm.
doing, or what assignments are in, or whatever that is. Your kids are at a disadvantage when every time that they're late for school or
Yep.
daycare, for that matter.
Yes, absolutely. And I realize that more and more as my kids are like wanting to be at places a lot earlier. They want to get settled. They want to be there early so they can just settle, relax, and then get into the mindset of whatever it is that the next activity is.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah, we want to talk to our friends.
I never grew up like that. We were always late. We were always running around. We had one car, and
Yeah.
we raised ourselves.
Yes.
I tell my
Whole
husband,
different skill set. Yes.
we raised ourselves. So, if it worked, it worked. If we were there with our half hair, half done, and we're wearing mismatching socks, or I went to school in grade 5 with, like, I think my pants were shorter. I grew out, had a growth spurts. I went to school. I didn't care. And my mom was
Yeah.
like, "You wore that?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to school on time. I got there on time, didn't I?"
Right.
Like, I didn't care. I didn't care.
Sometimes it's good that the school has guidelines that your skirt needs to be finger length and all those things.
Right, right. Yeah. But at our in
Oh,
our my kids' school, there's no uniform, especially in elementary school, so they wear whatever they want to wear.
yeah.
And it happens. My kid wears like the ones with the holes in their knees, like on all his pants. I'm like, why would you wear the one with the holes on your knees or the hole on your in the crotch area?
Right.
People are gonna think what?
Well, yes, but I remember being a teenager and my jeans were so tight that I had to lay on my bed and get pliers to zip them up. The things that we did.
That's
Yes.
it.
Okay,
That's
so let's move. We talked a little bit about morning and school mornings. Let's talk about some of the things that happen in the afternoon. So
hmm
how do you what are some tips to getting kids going to all the different activities that they have? You got to get into their activities. You got to feed them. Now we're telling moms, okay, well, now we have to have plan A, plan B outfits. Like, it's a lot. How can I help organize my time and make sure that I get, and somewhere in there, like, I became a mom because I love my children. I want to spend time with my kids, right?
Yes.
So how can we deal with all the extra stuff that happens with meals and with activities and with
Mhm.
spending quality time? Like, what are some of your tips for those things?
Right. So scheduling, having a family schedule where everybody knows what's happening, which day, what time is super key. Now, if you have younger kids, obviously it's difficult for them that they have their siblings have ballet on this day and that day, and the other sibling has like sometimes it's too much for them, and that's fine. But like the family calendar in a common location, usually the kitchen, the dining room is always a good thing. Sticking on the fridge, something visual for them to see. And if you color code, I have clients and friends who've done this where they color code the activity related to them. So mine could be all blue, my son's will be all red, my husband's will be all like green or something like that. And the other kid will be orange. So anything relating to them will be marked with their name or the activity. So they know there's something happening on that day.
Yeah.
Huge thing too is we as a family in general, I say 85, 95% of the time we eat dinners together, whether it's with myself and the kids or my husband, like the five of us. Like I said, he goes to jujitsu in the evening, so oftentimes he'll make the supper and have it ready, and then we will eat together, and he will take off and eat later on. We have that like family meeting style, like once a week.
I call that too. I call ours is family feast too.
Oh, no, no, family meeting. A family, like, we'll have it on a Sunday, like a Sunday or a Monday night, and say, okay, this is what's
Yep.
happening this week. These are the things that's happening. And this is a great time also to pull out the calendar and saying, don't forget, orthodontist appointment this time. You have soccer, blah, 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 blah. You have this going on. Like, don't forget of these things. It's also a great time to say, what are you missing? Is there anything you need for school? Like, I don't want to be coming in on Tuesday and you needed 24 cupcakes that
For
day.
birthday, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
You're like, okay, so that's when it gets them to start thinking about things. I remember I skipped one time and I completely missed orthodontist appointment where the orthodontist contacted me and they charge you now when you miss.
Yep.
So I had two kids going, so I got charged for that. That wasn't
It
fun,
happens, right?
but that was a learning lesson for me. Have the family meeting and discuss it, and don't forget to look at the calendar. And the other thing is, I share the calendar with my husband. We have a digital calendar, so anything that's on a physical calendar is also on the digital, and we
Yep.
share that and we talk about it throughout. Like check in throughout the day about, oh, this is what's happening tonight, this is happening tomorrow, blah blah blah. Right? In regards to the kids and stuff of what's when they come home, PM routine is huge, right? Where do the bags go? Where do the jackets go? Where do the shoes go? Where does the lunch bag go? What are
Mhm.
you doing with the lunch bag? Who is emptying the lunch bag? Where do the dirty dishes? Like all these things need to have a home, a sequence of event, like right. For teens, it's a lot easier. You can put more responsibility on them. For younger kids, if it's a simple, make sure your lunch bag goes here and your bags go here. This is the drop zone for your papers, any kind of announcements or whatever that your teacher has given you, they need to be put here. So if you start just with something like that initially and then change it or tweak it by the holidays so that the second half of the year there's progression from that, because you can't be expecting them to be doing that all the way till our high school, and then they come to high school and they're like, I don't know what to do with my lunch bag. What are you talking about? Empty it, clean it up, put all the stuff in the dishwasher, puts things away, right?
Right.
So just starting with simple routines also in the evening, in the afternoon, and then letting them know, like from the previous night, saying, hey, don't forget you have soccer or you have jujitsu or something at 5 o'clock. What do you need to get? What do you need done so that we're ready to leave at 4:30?
Yeah.
You have jujitsu
Yeah.
today. So again, critical thinking. What do you need to have done? Oh, I need my bag. I need my belt. I need all this. So yeah.
So I can see in my head a lot of moms that are listening, their eyes are glazing over. They're like, I can't. It's just too much. So
Right.
is this part of, because someone come to you and say, can you coach me? Is that part of your coaching program? Like,
Absolutely.
hey, I can, and really like then together you can develop that calendar. You can
Yes.
have like, okay, well, so you have Sundays, you and have your family feast. So let's do your calendar before. Let's talk about it. Let's, do it and then check in later. Like, how did that
Mm,
go? What can we tweak to kind of come alongside? Because like, it's a lot,
it
right?
is.
Unless you have a brain that automatically does that, it's a
Mhm.
lot to help. And so I'm so grateful for coaches like you because, people can connect with you and you can kind of help baby them through, right? Like little baby steps, because each baby step, you're either moving forward or you're moving backward. So like if
Right.
you can help moms progress at the beginning of the year, then by the end of the year, they're not feeling as frazzled. Because I
Absolutely.
know that last, I don't know who decides this, but like the last couple months is like, you know what? Let's have the track meet. Let's have the end of the year. And hey, it's Dr. Seuss week. So you have to come up with a new Dr. Seuss character every single day. And then, oh, look, it's Spirit week. And then we have like, and parents are like, it's the end of the year. I'm frazzled. Right.
Yes.
But having a plan in the beginning and doing that and developing it through
Yeah.
for as long as they need. So, talk
Absolutely.
a little bit about your programs. Can people hire you for as long as they need? Do you have like a 6-week program? Do you have like what kind of things do you offer?
Right. So, well, I have one that is very like introductory program where it's $43 Canadian. And this is what I call my Kickstart Clarity Kickstart program. And this is for the person who just doesn't really want to talk verbally with me. So it's really like just dip your toe in the water to see what I have to offer. And this is like you fill out a form. You go to diannejimenez.com/clarity and you fill out a form. There's questions that I ask you specifically about your home and what are the struggles you're having with there? How many kids are in the house? Who's involved in all of this? So basically, it's something for you that you want, let's say, a space organized, but you don't want to get into like a discovery call or a coaching call, and you don't want to get like, sold to. Because so right now it's a little unsexy thing that people don't want to be sold to. They just like tell me what to do, and that's what this is. This
Yeah,
is your problem, answer these questions, and I return all that information to you via video. So I will record myself with your answers, answering everything, and you see me talking to the camera. I send you the file. We
yeah,
haven't we haven't spoken in real time, and then this is what you do. These are the resources. These are the steps that I'm offering you. 1 to 3 steps that you can physically do, and you go. And from
yeah.
there, You decide if you want to work with me or not. All right. And then, so I have a second program, which is my actual one-on-one coaching program. It's called the Time Freedom Blueprint, where I work one-on-one with moms uh, to work on one aspect of their home or their schedule, or an aspect could be also getting their kids to help out. How do you get your children to help out and around the house and, do chores or something like that? Uh, so I do that one-on-one program. I follow it with my CLEAR method, which is an acronym for clarity, lead with example, establishing your routine, align your home so that it makes sense for you and your children, and R for raising capable kids.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and that one-on-one program, it's a 3 month, I call it's 100 days, but it's really 3 months and a bit because, life happens. We cancel sometimes, and family life happens. So it's 100 days of one-on-one working on one aspect of your home, which essentially isn't just one thing, but it touches upon different aspects of your home, your life, your family. So yeah, that's what that program is. And
That's great. So if you wanted to just focus on the calendar, family feast,
mhm,
that whole thing, that
mhm.
could be, like then you have 100 days to kind of get there. Or if you want to
Yes, but
focus on
it'll right.
routine,
Yeah. It'll
is
be a
that
little bit more because if you wanna do, like, the calendar, it's like, well, that's not the be all and end all of that. It grows from that because your family is constantly moving. This is a dynamic thing. Your calendar is gonna change week after week, sometimes and month after month for sure. So, establishing that routine and then some, like, we can start there, but coaching with me, it's like we're doing more than
yeah.
maybe what you've really wanted to do if it was just about establishing a calendar. You
Yeah.
know, if it was like, let's say, I need you to help me reorganize my closet. Okay, we did your closet. Now let's look at your bedroom and what does the rest of the bedroom closets look like? Like, I don't just talk about the one thing and I'm like, okay, we did it, and like, waste your time and
Right.
your money to just talk about the one thing. We're looking at everything, at all aspects, and where else can I help you,
I love that. Yeah.
better your situation? Because that's what I wanna do. I wanna help, I wanna help you. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that so many moms, me included, right, need that help. Not only because, like, I, I do okay working out by myself, but if I have an accountability partner, I do so much better, right?
absolutely.
Whether you wanna follow a diet, whatever that looks like as a mom, it makes it so much easier when you have someone else to come alongside you. So, like, okay, I wanna make this part of my life smoother as a mom, to have you come alongside and go, okay, what worked, what didn't work, how can we tweak it? You have that accountability to follow through, which I think is important. So I'm so grateful for coaches like you that can come in and make moms' lives so much easier.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for coming
Thank
today.
you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun, and it's wonderful just to be able to speak about this, that to let moms know that, you know what, you don't have to deal with things alone. You don't have to do life alone. There's so many moms out there who get it, and you are not alone. So, thank you
Yeah,
so much for
absolutely,
this.
absolutely, and we'll put all of your information in the description so that any mom who's listening can connect with you and do a little tweaking in their own life and have, someone to come alongside them. So, thanks, and to all you moms, if you are listening, go ahead and, all the information is down there. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Hopefully you just feel like we come alongside and we just had a conversation with friends, because that is exactly what we do here at the Unshackled Moms Alliance. So you all take care and keep things clean.
Thank you.